Two-wheel drivers, converteds. Two-wheel drivers, converteds. Two-wheel drivers, converteds.
What are you doing?
Well, we need a two-wheel drive 4L80 and all we have is this four-wheel drive.
Oh, well, you gotta use a 15 millimeter.
Oh. Two-wheel drivers, converteds. Hey, it worked.
All right, we're back. Today we are going to take a 4L80 transmission and turn it into a four-wheel drive into a two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to put this into a 1986 C10 pickup, Dad's truck. We've done 2 engines for this truck, and we're going to do a second transmission for this truck now. Long, boring story, but that truck's going to get the LQ9 engine, and when you've got an LQ9 and you're planning on pulling something, you want something that can handle it, and a 4L80, 4L85, they can handle some torque. So if I was building a truck that was going to pull something, this is the one I would use. This is a four-wheel drive one. Most of our donors that we get are four-wheel drive around here. We very rarely see 4L80s two-wheel drive unless you find a van or something like that. But we have a bunch of these sitting around that are 4x4s, and it needs to be turned into a two-wheel drive. And we're going to also rebuild this. This truck drove here, so we know it's okay. It was a running and driving transmission, but we are putting it in the 86, and we're going to make sure that all the pistons, the seals, clutches, and everything are replaced in it. So it's a nice fresh transmission, but also turn it into a two-wheel drive. All right. A lot of people have to do that. We'll show you how. This thing, a 4L80. You'll find earlier ones that had the cooler lines. There'd be 2 of them, just like on a 4L60, that were close together. They figured out they had some kind of an oiling problem. Something wasn't getting enough oil to it, and they moved the return back, and so they fixed that problem on it. A 4L80 also has 2 speed sensors. This turbine sensor, and then this would be the speed sensor if it was a two-wheel drive. You also need a reluctor wheel to make that speed sensor work. We'll talk about that when we get to that point, okay? Now, a four-wheel drive is going to have a transfer case mounted on it, and it gets its final drive on the transfer case. Just like this one was, so this one is just plugged off. It wasn't used because it is a 4x4. So when we're done, we will use that though as the actual speed signal. That really doesn't have anything to do with the actual speed signal. It's the input speed signal is what it is, all right?
Okay.
So these are great transmissions. You very rarely hear people talking bad about them. They're pretty tough. They last a long time. They don't like to get hot is the one thing that I know about them. So whenever I was doing one of these, working with them, I absolutely made sure well, you should, no matter what, make sure your transmission cooler is clean on the thing, not plugged up, and if you're putting one in a pickup, absolutely put a transmission cooler on it. Okay? But other than that, they're bulletproof. They'll handle all the torque that a 6-liter LQ9 can put out, and they're just awesome. They have a higher first gear than a 4L60, okay? So it's not going to get you off the line quicker, all right? But and it has a lower 4th gear. But it is real similar to the 4L60. The thing about it is it just can handle some more horsepower and some more torque. All right.
Heavy duty.
That's why people love
Yep.
it. And the only other decent transmission that General Motors made for, in my opinion, so far is the 6L90. And they're pretty decent. Anything past the 6L90, I will wait a long time before we ever mess with one of those because they're riddled with problems. But this transmission was not. It's got the same body as a 400 transmission. So any vehicle that in the past years that you knew that would take a 400 transmission, this thing will fit in there. It has the same space as a 400, okay? It also has a 6-bolt torque converter. Whenever I'm walking around and I just need to look and see what they are, I glance at it and I know it's got 6 bolts. It's a 4L80. Because I either have 4L60s or 4L80s around here. So the 4L80, like if you're going to put it in a 2-wheel drive truck like this, it's a great transmission, like I said, but it also, you have to remember that it's longer. On a 4-wheel drive transmission, compared to a 4L60 or a 700R4, this transmission, like at the end of its 4-wheel drive housing, it's about 1.5 inches longer. So you're going to have to account for that, because if you put it into a short vehicle like a Blazer or short bed pickup, you're going to have to set it back a little bit further, and so then you're going to have to mess with your drive shafts. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to have an engine that's sitting way too far forward in the engine compartment. So that is 1.5 inches longer, so you have to understand that could cause a problem for you. If you weren't pulling something and you were just building a driver, I would do a 4L60 in a short bed or a Blazer. That's just my opinion, but it saves you a lot of headache. But if you're gonna pull something, this is the baby, all right? So when we get down to putting a 2-wheel drive in this thing, this is the output shaft for a 2-wheel drive 4L80. It's got 6 inches of full spline right there, 32 spline shaft. This is a shaft out of a 700R4, but you can see the difference between that. It's the same as what's in a 4L60, that one, and then all the 4L80s have the 32. 4L60s, 27. Because they're beefier, they handle more load, all right?
Sweet.
So what are you going to need to do to turn it into a 2-wheel drive? You'll need that. There's only one of these. There's only one style of these. And you'll need a 2-wheel drive output housing, okay? It's going to replace that one. Okay. And as far as I know, I think there's only one style of these. All right? Could be wrong. I am most of the time.
Someone will let us know.
Yes, we count on that. Okay? So let's look at this one real quick.
Okay.
People wonder, why they got so many benches?
It's the cart corral.
Yes. So this is a 2-wheel drive also. I picked this thing up on Marketplace, and it was a 2-wheel drive, so I went out and I grabbed it just so I could have that extension housing, and it has a different output shaft. Its output shaft was made for a yoke that just goes on and it bolts on the end, and it sits stationary. And then it goes to a two-piece drive shaft, and so it doesn't have any slip. They make I think 4 different lengths of this one, maybe 3. I don't know, but this is the one that I buy and I use for a slip yoke. That is the actual only one that they made for a slip yoke. And I know that there are people that are buying like some kind of special slip yoke, and they're putting it on these, but I've never done that because I just don't know how well that's going to work vibration wise and things like that. So I don't do that. Also, when we get down to it, a 2-wheel drive transmission, it's got this oil plug here in the back. There's a tiny hole in there that bleeds off fluid into the rear housing. And you probably can't even see it, but it is there. And without that, you would starve the rear bushing for oil. So when we get down to switching that out, we're gonna have to make sure that it has that hole to bleed some fluid back to it, okay?
Sweet.
All right, and then this is an older one, and this is what I was talking about. The inlet and the outlet on the transmission cooler lines are together. This transmission, for us, we will never use this one, but I just had it here because I bought it for the output, the housing,
Yep.
okay? Let's get to it, all right? Oh, and this is also, that's the slip yoke for that transmission. And so you'll notice that it's shorter and it just goes in and then it's bolted onto the back, and they silicone these on the inside here to keep them from leaking. And you wouldn't think that you'd want to use that as a slip yoke because it's going to be a problem. But that one is made for like a drive shaft that is like a 2-piece.
Oh, okay.
And so if I was doing a long bed or something, I'd probably use that and have an actual 2-piece drive shaft. And so there's nothing wrong with those, but I just wouldn't use it as a slip yoke. So, all right, so let's tear this thing apart.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I already took 4 of the bolts out for the rear housing, so I only got to do 2, so you don't have to be too bored. So there you go. On a 480, that is the 4-wheel drive adapter, right? So we don't need that anymore.
Keep it though, make like a bracelet or something. Necklace.
Bracelets. How many bracelets would you have by now? Now, you see on the back of this one, it looks totally different. And it's because there is no bleed for fluid to come out. It's just got a freeze plug in it. That last bit of oil that's there is fed to the bushing right here, you know, behind this seal. So that is where we'll have to change that when it comes to being a 2-wheel drive. We did that. We did the 700R4 video, or not 700R4, 4060 video, and people were saying, "Oh, you forgot to add oil, the oil plug." And a 4060 does not do that. Okay, just gonna put this over here.
I'll trip over it later.
All right, so the torque converter. Got rid of that, get rid of some weight. Now, if we were just doing, it would be great if we didn't have to take the valve body off, but on a 4L80, you have to take the valve body off to get all the shafts and the clutches out of it. This is always the fun part, to see how much junk is in the pan. You hope for nothing. Ooh, look at that.
Not too bad.
It's nice and clean.
Smells nice.
Put a bucket underneath my catch. Yeah. So, there's not a lot of junk in that pan, which is amazing because I know a little bit about the life of this truck. It wasn't in a situation where it was being maintained very well. Okay.
That's the nicest way to say this.
Yes, I'd love to say his name. We see him daily, but he would also say, he would go, yes, it was abused. So, let's get the valve body off it. Yeah. In order to do that, we're going to have to take the wire harness off. Everything that's plugged into it, we won't have to take it all the way out, but we will get that out of there. This. Also, what we're going to do, there's a bunch of different kits that I could buy for this to replace all the parts that I need to replace.
Yeah, that's a question we've had a few times. Which kit to buy?
So on this transmission, because there's so many different kits, I'm going to tear it apart today, and I'm going to see what's wrong with it, what needs to be replaced, and then order the kit that I need, just so I don't buy a bunch of stuff that I don't need. But today we'll get it down to that point to where we turn it into a two-wheel drive, at least, right? I know this truck had what, 200 right? 260?
Yeah,
somewhere
like
around there.
260, 270. It was up there.
Yeah. Oh, this little tube, it just pulls right out of there. It's held on by this little bracket on that bolt. So you undo that one and you can wiggle it out. Here, I'll use a little screwdriver.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, get your little screwdriver.
That servo, if you were just turning it into a two-wheel drive, it does not have to come off.
But because we're tearing it down to rebuild it.
Yep. Oh, and also somebody told us on the 4L60, you can do that on the 4L60 and not take the servo off the side. Save yourself the trouble of doing that. Because we weren't sure when we did that whether or not you could do that.
Is it a circlip?
Huh?
Is it a circlip on the end of that?
Yeah, that's not what holds it.
Servo removus.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're going to try to keep all the little parts together.
Yeah, this is where if you watch the 4L60 videos that we did, time and space. Keep it organized and it goes back together a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, see, that just popped out. So, it should have come out
So it should have just...
all in one. Okay. So, here we go. Our check balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So 8 check balls. Put them right there. In fact, oh, let's do a tub of towels. Not a sponsor.
No.
That way we can keep all of our little tiny parts where they need to be. Put that one out. It's spring. Don't think you got to take the parking pawl off, but let's do it anyway, okay?
Okay.
It's got to be done no matter what. Little spring for the parking pawl. Don't lose that. There are things on this transmission that I think are easier. And I also think there are things that are harder. It has like a little nail that keeps that. There we go. Probably shouldn't pry on that. Gear selector, parking paw. Okay. Unlike a 4L60, it doesn't have the solenoids going into the pump. That's why we always had to take at least the torque converter solenoid off in order to pull the front pump out of it. But not on this thing, you don't have to. So in order to get everything out of this, you got to take this bolt out. And there's a bolt right there. It doesn't look like a bolt. I use a 12.3/8 on it. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but it does work on it. And then this not sure what the torque size is.
40-ish?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, yeah. Okay. First time I ever did one of these, it took me forever to figure out that bolt. Because it doesn't look like a bolt.
It looks like some little plug or something.
Yeah.
Weird one.
So, but it absolutely has to come out to get that clutch out of there. And this one does too. And they have holes through them, you know, so they're feeding fluid to something. The valve body. All right, so that's all I got to do to take that, to get the gears out of it, okay? Okay, so let's take the front pump out of it. I think we're going to need some serious power. You all right, Juice?
She's hanging in there. Juice.
Right, so I come in here and I can pry the pump out. Do it without hurting anything. Okay. So, front pump. Look familiar? Mm-hmm. Alright, with the front pump out, I can put the pan back on. And look, I just put the pan back on it because I'm going to be rolling it around and I don't want to damage the valve body surface. Okay, so at this point, front pump's pulled out. This clutch is going to pull out now, right? Okay, so I can take that out.
Okay.
And you notice I'm going to put everything in a row out here because I would rather have that all lined up in a row to where I don't have to remember, or to where I can screw up less. Mm-hmm. Right? So here we go. And I don't know the name of all these clutches. We just rely on other people to comment and tell us. Mm-hmm. So I will call something the wrong thing. I appreciate people telling me what I'm wrong.
Whoa.
Okay. And that snap ring, this would have come out without that snap ring. All right.
The whole thing.
Yeah, but the one bolt that we took out, it goes in there. So that's why you have to pull that bolt out of the front underneath the valve body. All right. So now, the other piece. And this might be the one where there's a sprag.
Language.
Oh no, it's not. So.
Who you calling a sprag?
That's the next clutch.
The pieces are definitely bigger.
Yeah.
You can tell it's heavy duty.
Yeah. And then I The reason I put them all in a row is because like this one's got this thrust washer on it. So just so I can keep that, you know, in
Yes.
line. Right.
Yes, because that's where like you get down to the end and you check your end play,
Yeah.
and those little dingy little pieces make a difference.
I don't think that works on the 4080 though,
Oh really?
because that one bolt holding that clutch in the end play is.
It is where it is.
If you're missing a washer, you're just missing a washer. So all right. So at this time, we're going to have to use our special tool.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I noticed it's a different bucket this time. Is this special for a 4080 or?
Yeah, it's shorter. We haven't had anybody buy one yet.
Yeah. I was really hoping that one would take off.
We might have to lower the price.
Maybe.
We had it at 400.
Yeah, maybe 4 is too much. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll bring it down to 3.
350. We got to cover shipping.
That's true. So at this point, that's the next clutch that comes out of it. Take a look at it. Make sure it doesn't have some kind of washer that I'm not aware of. Go put it in its row. All right, and you got a band. Put it in line, right? All right, so the next one, snap ring. There's a series of snap rings coming up, and they're different. So I pay attention to that. Make sure I put them in a row.
Yeah.
All right, so we took that snap ring out. So now there's a clutch pack in here. I'll pull it out. Right?
Okay.
I'm going to keep them in line. It's a weird one, right? It's got little things on it.
Nubs.
Okay, so now there's this snap ring. Okay, so the next one, it's thicker than the one that I just took out. That's why I pay attention to them. All right. At a glance, they look the same, but they're not. And I think the groove that they fit in, like the thinner one will fit in the thicker groove one, but you don't really care about that. All right, so we pulled that snap ring out. There's another one down there. You can see it kind of. Don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it though.
Next thing. The other difference, this back portion has to come out. Okay?
Oh, your little
Cooling line. Yeah. So you have to take that out.
Weird little thing.
Very strange. At this point, I think everything will come out of it. Let's put it back on the bench.
Okay.
All right, hammer.
Favorite tool?
And this will separate. So I carefully pull it out. I'm gonna get one of those stands one day that holds it upside down for me. All right. So there you have it, right? Good. Thrust washer. Now here's your output shaft. So now You might notice a difference between these two. This is the one that came out of a 4-wheel drive. This is the one that came out of a factory 2-wheel drive. And it's got a reluctor ring on it for the rear speed signal. Now, you're going to have to install this reluctor ring on it. If you're good at heating something up and taking it off, you can do that off of a 2-wheel drive and put it on this one. Or if you don't care about the 2-wheel drive, you could just use this portion of it. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to have to put another one back on this. I've got it. I'm going to get the reluctor ring to put on that, and we will have a reluctor ring on it so the rear speed sensor works.
Yes.
All right. It definitely will not work without it. It'll read how fast your parking paw is going, and that is it. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully not very fast.
Yeah. If your parking paw is going that fast, you're in big trouble. But you do have to do that. I don't know why they couldn't have just put that on there. It probably would have cost them 2 or 3 cents more per transmission. But it creates a problem for people not putting that on there. Okay?
Yeah.
But like I said, when I put this transmission together for the last time, we'll put a brand new reluctor ring on it, and then I can keep this for another 2-wheel drive transmission.
Ooh, I could make another bracelet.
Yeah, you could. All right, so that's it.
Okay.
At this point, these two will separate. There's a sprag gear in there that will fall into a bunch of pieces if you separate the two. And I've done it numerous times, and you just put it back together. It's pretty kind of common sense of how it goes back together.
Just a bunch of pieces.
Yeah, it's all it is rollers and springs, and should be wearing gloves.
Mm-hmm. Cut your hand in half.
That's right. Okay, so that one.
And there you go.
Your output, got a bearing there.
Ooh.
Stuck with it. We'll put it back on. So now is the point, say we're changing this thing from 4-wheel drive to a 2-wheel drive. This is what we're changing. So thrust washer. That baby. It's got a new race in it. All that's taken care of for you. All that looks good. There we go. Okay. Ooh, this is a GM part too. Mm-hmm. We'll have the part number. I actually bought it on Amazon.
Yes.
Right?
It came in a GM genuine package.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Yeah, that seal is messed up. See that?
Mm-hmm, I noticed that.
So we'll definitely replace that.
Yes.
Oh, let's show them the sprag gear that I'm talking about just for fun.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. This is a gear that on occasion you pull it out and all those little rollers and the springs fall out of it. Okay.
Yeah. If you can see, there's little kind of zigzag springs all the way around.
Yeah.
1 million pieces.
Yeah, but you can put it back together. It's okay. But that's why I try to pull it out. If I'm not rebuilding it, I try to pull it out and not have to do that, because I did it once and the floor wasn't all that clean. I thought for certain that I wasn't going to find all the pieces and parts.
Mm-hmm.
Now this transmission is going to get rebuilt. It looks like it doesn't even need rebuilt, but it definitely needs seals and that. But let's pretend, we're going to pretend now that we're just going to turn it into a 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
Right? Or rear wheel drive. So we're going to do the opposite of what we just did. We got our new output shaft on it for a slip yoke. That's the other thing too. A 400 transmission has the same splines, 32 spline.
Ooh.
This is off of 2002. It's about, if you take one out of a 400 transmission, it'll fit on this, but it's only maybe 4 inches long. Mm-hmm. All right. So I absolutely buy these just to make them right. So that gives it that much more of the shaft that it slips on, and less opportunity for it to vibrate.
Yes.
Right?
Juice. Juice, can you woof?
Can you woof? Woof. Come on, woof.
You got woof. Say you're lying. Come here. Come here. Hey, you got woof. Woof, can you woof? Can you woof? Yeah. Okay.
All right, so on the back of the 4x4s, there's that freeze plug in there that does not have the oil to pass through into there. And then it supplies oil to that bushing right there, okay? Through that hole. So, and it's just a little bit, it's not transmission pressure. It's just the tiniest little hole. I've only done a few of these. They're difficult to get out. What I do is I've tried a lot of different ways. I've tried putting a screw into it. The threads usually pull out of the screw, like when I try to do a seal that way. So I do self-tapping screws into them. See if it'll come out. This one would not. I ended up drilling the hole a little bit bigger. Then I make myself a real sharp chisel, and I go in and I get on the edge of it and start pushing it away from the wall until it loses its tension on it, and then it finally comes out. You know? So I wish I could say I have a trick to it. It's a battle, but you take it out, and then you can buy the new piece that goes in there. It goes in here, has a tiny little hole in it. An O-ring seal right there to seal it up between those two, and it still supplies oil, of course, to that bushing, but it gives oil all the way to your 2-wheel drive shaft. And then if you were doing a 4x4 conversion, it wouldn't matter because the oil in that hole would not be going anywhere anyway.
As long as your gasket is good to your transfer case, I guess.
Yeah, because it's just it would just drain a little bit out of the hole down, and it would drain back into the pan through that. So really, if you were doing 2-wheel drive to 4x4, you wouldn't care about that plug.
I'm not sure because we've never done one. I've seen people just JB weld it, but I don't know. I've never seen it, what would happen if you didn't, so.
Yeah, I mean, really, technically it's no different than a 4x4, it's still losing that much fluid, so I don't see what it would matter, but if you plugged it up, it wouldn't matter. It just wouldn't be draining any off into that one, and there might be less chance that way of having a leak between your housing and your transfer case, so.
Yeah, I think that's what people are worried about.
But getting the plug out and not boogering up the edges is the key to it. And I boogered those up a little bit, and I'll have to go and clean that off a little. I'll clean them up before I put the new plug in there. And the plug, I will have a part number for them, but it depends on what kit that I buy, whether or not the plug comes with the kit.
Yeah.
Okay, the new plug to replace that one.
Yes.
All right. Now, you see, you could make a necklace out of that.
Ooh, kitty.
So, in doing that, then, I created a bunch of metal filings.
Yeah.
So need to find out where that passage comes from, basically. So I'll give it a little air. Did it come out here?
It comes out of there.
Yeah. And also, if you don't want to go through the hassle of pulling that thing out and you wanted to just go the route of drilling a tiny little hole in it, you could do that. My only thing with doing that is, where's that metal go? Mm-hmm. But afterwards, once you've got that out, and you want to make sure whatever you did to do that, you cleaned it out. And now would be the time to do it, because all it does is pass from there, and it goes into that seal right there. So just clean this back portion out, get rid of all that junk in there, get your new part that's got a hole in it, put that in, and you're good to go. Okay?
Sweet.
So, and how I would do that right now, I would do it with brake clean. I'd spray that out with brake clean, spray that out, of course, and then let it blow it out, and then let it all drop into the pan or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we would be at the point where we could start putting it back together.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so this thrust washer, it sits in the back of the transmission, and these three pieces fit in a certain spot. So I'm gonna put it in, have it holding in with some assembly goo, because it's impossible to get it to go in there otherwise. So it fits in those little nubs, you see them? Mm-hmm. Nubs. Like I said, that band, I think that's reverse. Could be wrong, but it doesn't have to come out for anything. If you do have to replace that band, you kind of pry it out with a screwdriver, and then a new one just kind of rolls into its spot. There's a little, you just gotta trial and error, but you can get them in there. But I have never replaced one of those yet. And then, like I said, this snap ring stays right there. Don't have to take that one out.
Cool.
Okay, so I took some assembly goo, and I've got this thrust washer stuck to that one. Okay, I'm gonna put it all back in the exact opposite of the way we took it out. It's not light. Okay, this clutch, it only sits in there one way. There it is, the little teeth right there. See it? Okay, it goes right there, up against that weird angle in the transmission. That's how I see it, right? Okay, so at this point, put it back on our special tool. Oh, we're getting a workout today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, is it all the way down? Hopefully. So, back in the order, in reverse, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, this snap ring, it's a pretty big, thick one. Just like everything else, like if it doesn't go back together, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. They're complicated, but it's pretty obvious when something's not quite right.
Yeah. So next, the clutches. And they're only going to go in one way. or this one is. The top one's only going to go in one way. So this one, it's like a wavy one. Goes in first. All right. Then a steel. These going to go in one way. Oh, all right. So these are only going to go in one way too. Steels.
Oh, yeah.
That little.
The little nib.
Yep. So then clutch. Another little nub. Right?
Yep.
Friction, steel, friction, and this one. Got it?
Sweet.
Then it was a snap ring that holds that clutch in. Right. Now there's a band. And the next one, I'm going to go in on my clutches and line them up a little bit, maybe make it a little easier for me. This was a fun one to drop in there. Okay. Alright, I think that's all. It feels like it's on a bearing. It doesn't feel like it's sitting on a clutch. Okay. So, next piece. Now, this clutch has to drop into that. There. Yes. Okay.
Sweet.
So you can definitely feel when they go together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So next piece. This one. And I didn't move anything on it. I know this is going to line up with that dowel right there. Look good?
Sweet.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okie dokie. We're running out of pieces over there.
Yep. All right. So if I was putting this in for the last time, like if we weren't rebuilding it, I'd use some dowels.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Front pump's on. There's some end play there, probably just the right amount. We could measure that, of course, but we're going to rebuild the thing. So I need it sitting up on the bench, but I don't want to lift it. All right, so there you have it. We got a 2-wheel drive slip shaft on this. Now, we put this on, right? Mm-hmm. But before we do that, we'll put the new freeze plug in it, basically, with the orifice tube, like we said, yes, to feed some oil to that. But we're going to rebuild this transmission, so I'm not going to do it now. I'll do it after I clean everything. So at that point, you would have that done. You'd put your new seals between your output shaft. Oh, man. All right. Then you do all 6 of them, of course. I'm not going to. You got to put that back in. Where's that at? So you'd put that in. And that's your slip yoke. There you have it.
Cool.
Okay. Got a nice 2-wheel drive, the way it's supposed to be with a slip yoke.
Yeah.
This slip yoke is out of a 4x4. It's too long, but it could be cut down and used, but we'll get the right slip yoke for it. I just use this one to plug them up, you know.
Yeah, keep it clean.
But it'll be shorter than that one.
Sweet.
Right? All right. So if you were going to reuse that, then like anything you did at that point, you would replace the seals and that. But so don't forget the O-ring. It's for the torque converter, lockup torque converter that goes there. I would put a new one on that. And then, so now this is going to be your speed signal. You're going to pull that plug out. You can take the speed signal out of the transfer case and put it there, or buy a new one, whatever you want to do. Get rid of that plug. That'll be your new speed sensor. And you've got yourself a 2-wheel drive 4L80.
I like it.
A beast.
Yes. Towing machine.
Yeah, that's right. Monster. And then, of course, I'd absolutely have to pull the pan back off it, put the valve body back on it, and everything else that we did to get to that point of it. But I'm not going to do it now because I do have to rebuild this. Once we're done recording this, I'll take this back apart. I'll take each clutch apart. I'll look at each bushing. I know that I'll replace every seal and the 3 bonded pistons that are in this thing. But I'll get myself a parts list to order up for it, what this transmission needs, and then we'll show you in the future doing the clutches in this.
Yep.
Okay.
So there you go, 4L80E, 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive conversion. Like we said, we got some parts ordered, and as soon as those are here, we will get it all put back together and ready to go into this bad boy.
That's right, Dad's truck. This 86 C10, it has been here way too long. I got into fixing some rust on it, and it just escalated. Finally got that passed, and Jeff, the owner of this, is letting us do some fun stuff to it that I've never gotten to do before. Hiding the ECM and modules underneath the seat, bunch of cool wiring, and we've also got to build a nice engine and transmission for it too. But we're finally going to get this baby done. We also have a 4x4 from our neighbor Jeff that will be here, and we'll throw some of that content in too here and there. So we got a ton of stuff coming up.
Yep, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, if you have any questions or anything to add, let us know in the comments down below. We always look forward to reading them. Make sure you're following us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, so you keep up with all the cool stuff that we got going on. As always, we appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you next time. Maybe less violent. Hey, where's a rope? Where's your rope?